I think that in terms of major Western companies pulling the manufacturing away, usually what tends to happen is big companies usually have one factory or two factory that is more or less exclusive to them a lot of the times. So a lot of the stuff that we actually sell, usually that particular manufacturer would have a massive amount of customer base. Maybe they're manufacturing 50, 60, 70 people. I know this a lot because I worked with a lot of the Vietnamese factories in Vietnam. They're usually not solely reliant on one company unless it's a huge company and that company has some type of exclusivity with that particular company. So yeah, I'm not too worried about that at all, mate. I think it'll continue. But I've said this before, and I think I mentioned it on the Inner Circle call last time. It's always good to have a backup plan, and it's always good to know that you have another supplier as a backup in case something does happen to your supplier. One thing you don't want to do is rely on that one supplier, and you're building your business and you start doing really, really well. And then what happens is they either go out of business or they stop producing the product that you're ordering from them or anything else like that. So usually what I tend to do is I have probably, when I'm first getting quotations and when I'm first getting samples, I would get a large amount of samples, right? I would contact a large amount of factories. I receive a lot of samples, and then I usually rate the actual factories, number one, number two, number three. And I would essentially keep that number or keep that list with me and reach out to the second factory every now and then just to kind of keep that relationship there, just in case something happens. But a backup plan is always very important. I know also what you can do, and I know some people do, is they will have two factories on the go at once. Now, I don't usually tend to do that. I have done that once before because I really felt like I needed to, because the quality of the first factory I was ordering from was starting to decline. So I felt like I needed to order some product from somewhere else. But if you're selling in two marketplaces sometimes, and what you can do, and again, it's going to depend on the product because you want to make sure you have a consistent product between the factories. If you have two factories supplying you that particular product or manufacturing it for you, you want to make sure the consistency is there. But you can get one factory to do the US for you, one factory to do Australia for you. If you are a little bit paranoid about the fact that maybe your factory's starting to dwindle a little bit or the quality is not that good, then you have to start to kind of maybe overlap slightly before you move to someone else. So yeah, John, so I guess the long answer short is to definitely have a backup plan in case something does happen with your factory. It's just something you're just never ever going to know, right? Until you have a look at it.
I don't actually have two suppliers on the go at any one time because, like you say, with the consistency, I've been with the same suppliers for at least 3 years now on a couple of my ASINs. But I do have my list of the factories that I contacted at the beginning and who I got samples from. I always, keeping the right records and keeping all the history of what you do from start to ongoing is really important. So I've still got my Excel spreadsheets of all the factories and all the conversations that I had with those back then. So and they do contact me every now and again just to touch base and always want your business. So they're always there, but it's just a matter of making sure you keep that record of those factories just in case.
It's always good to have a backup plan. It's less stressful too on the business because there are things that come up that you don't realize. They do come up until you become, until you start having some momentum, and it's like, bugger, where'd this come from? So it's kind of, sometimes it's good just to ensure that certain things are put in place.
That was a video from my regular Monday night Q&A session with the members of the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs. We are a community of 2,500 members and growing. We're the fastest growing community of professional e-commerce sellers right here in Australia, with sales, by the way, of over $50 million. $50 million, holy crap. If you'd like to find out more about what we do and how we can help you build your own e-commerce business too, get off to www.aussieonlineentrepreneurs.com.au. The link for that is in the description. And thanks so much for watching. See you in the next video.